searching in the ocean for your eyes. Started drowning, pulled me out, and we survived. All my life, I wish.
Hey guys, how are you doing? Welcome back to my channel. So happy to be seeing you here, and welcome back to my corner of wisdom, aka my stationery for the past 12 months since the pandemic started. And thank you very much for watching my previous video on the topic of Ho'oponopono, and this video will be the continuation. So if you're new and you're just joining in to my YouTube channel, make sure to check out that video first prior to watching this one, so you get the basic foundation. So today's topic will once again revolve around the topic of forgiveness. Now, lately I've been following on Instagram and Facebook, and there's so many webinars, there's so many marathons, there's so many trainings going on the topic of visualization, about manifestation, yada yada yada, etc. But I think although those topics are very important and close to my heart, I think the first and foremost step prior to manifesting anything is forgiveness. It's removing that negative baggage. It's cutting that negative chain that connects you, that keeps you tied to your past, which means if you do not forgive, you are basically pulling that baggage with yourself to the present and to the future. So a lot of times when we speak about the topic of forgiveness, I'm sure a lot of people have encountered challenges where they didn't know how to get out of a situation. So they went to seek advice from someone. It can be a parent, a friend, anyone. And most of the times, what we hear when we share our experience with somebody else, they usually say, forgive and let go. Duh. Of course you have to forgive. Of course you have to let go. But the question is, how? We are not explained the process. Now you see, when somebody tells you to forgive, automatically we have that resentment, we have that negativity towards the certain someone, and automatically we say, no, I'm not going to forgive anyone. I'm not going to forgive X, Y, and Z for doing me wrong. And this is something I'm echoing from my first video, because I'm really trying to make you understand that it's important. Forgiveness is important because it is not benefiting anyone other than yourself. Now, when you forgive someone, you know the consequences of not being able to forgive. You know what will come as a result of not forgiving. And how many of you here, including myself, I raised both hands. I raised both hands in this. How many of you have noticed a similar pattern repeat in your life? Now you see, if you do not acquire a lesson the first time around, it will come back to your life once again. And if you did not acquire a lesson the second time around, it will once again come back to your life the third time. And the process will go on and on until you understand, until you acquire the lesson behind that challenge. Now, if we were to be explained the process of forgiveness, why we have to forgive, why we have to let go, I think everyone in the world would be willing to forgive, because they would understand the consequences behind not forgiving someone. Now, I'll speak from my own experience. When I was confronted with one challenge, of course, I didn't acquire the lesson. The second time it came into my life, I didn't acquire the lesson. Finally, the third time it came into my life, I went to my mom seeking for advice. I said, Mom, what should I do? I am honestly sick and tired of always coming across this challenge. I have to understand how to stop this pattern from continuing. And she simply said, Ho'oponopono is the answer. I was like, Ho'opono, what? So I started digging deep, doing in-depth research to understand, why should I forgive someone? And you know what? I understood that by forgiving someone, I was only benefiting myself. By cutting the chain from the past, I was ensuring myself a better future. So I decided to cut that pattern. I honestly did not want that pattern to be continuing endlessly. I understood that forgiveness is something that benefits you. You basically remove all that hatred. You remove all that resentment. You no longer occupy your mind with unnecessary information, unnecessary questions. Because when you don't forgive someone, it can be anyone. It can be anyone. Now, when I'm speaking of forgiveness, some people assume that I'm referring to a significant someone. No, I'm not referring to a significant someone. It can be anyone. You are no longer questioning. You no longer, occupy your mind with unnecessary information about why they did that to you, what was the result, what emotions you were feeling. Because whenever that you remember a certain memory, recall a certain memory, of course the emotions are just going to be coming running back to you. Once again, the resentment is there, the hate is there. It's time to stop. Time to declutter your mind, because the people who hurt you, honestly, they do not deserve a minute of your time, a second of your time. Because whenever you are remembering a negative experience, you are basically paying respect to that person by thinking about them as well. Again, let's stop analyzing. Now, I received a question from a follower on Instagram, and I'm going to quickly read it to you and respond at the same time, because this is a question that others might also have. So the question goes as follows: how do you know if you've actually forgiven someone? I've had a situation with certain someone. I don't care about the person anymore, yet they always come back into my life even when I push them away. So I'll just stop the question there. Now, the sentence "when I push them away" itself shows that you still have negative emotions living inside of you toward that certain someone. Now, when we speak of forgiveness, when you forgive a certain someone, honestly, their presence in your life no longer bothers you. Basically, you're indifferent. And when you forgive someone, it does not necessarily mean they will be fully out of your life. They can be present in your life 24/7, but their presence no longer bothers you. Now, when do you know that you've actually forgiven someone? Truly, sincerely forgiven someone? When somebody speaks of that person and speaks of their achievements, speaks of their happiness, and it does not bother you. When you hear of that person's achievements and success and joy, you don't have any questions inside of you. Well, one of the questions or one of the thoughts that might come into your mind is, well, they did me wrong and yet they're so blessed, No, on the contrary, you say, that's good. I wish them all the best. You wish them all the best. Hearing about their achievements, hearing about their success does not trigger any negative emotion inside of you. I believe that is the only time when you have truly forgiven someone. Sincerely, we can all say, oh, I forgave X, Y, and Z. No, it has to come from here. It has to come from the bottom of your heart. So that's when Ho'oponopono comes in handy. So once again, it's basic 4 mantras that you repeat. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, and I thank you. So let's start by forgiving, not to benefit others, but to benefit ourselves. So whatever energy, the negative energy that you do not cleanse, eventually gets transferred to your kids, to their kids, and so on and so forth. So let's stop the cycle here. Let's build a better life, a better future. Let's start by forgiving, because by forgiving, you are benefiting yourself and ensuring a better future. So stay tuned for more videos, because the topic of forgiveness is something that I will continue to elaborate more and more in my future videos, because this is not something that can be taught over a 5-minute video. Sometimes it takes days, sometimes it takes weeks, sometimes it takes years. But nevertheless, I'm here to share my own experience. So make sure you stay tuned and see you next time. Bye-bye.